Welcome to TMZ Live. One of the big mysteries in the Jeffrey Epstein saga is whether he really did kill himself. The official version is that he committed suicide in his cell, but there are doubters. Now, a document has come out, which, if you believe it, is pretty much a lock that Jeffrey Epstein did himself in.
This note that was released is supposed to make people, I think part of the reason it's released, they thought it would make people believe once and for all that he did die by suicide. It has done the exact opposite. So the note reads, they investigated me for a month, found nothing. So 15 or 16, we're not sure, 15 or 16-year-old charges resulted. It is a treat to be able to choose one's time to say goodbye. What you want me to do? Burst out crying? No fun, not worth it. By the way, his handwriting looks like a doctor writing a prescription.
It's an odd note that, especially if you're taking some care to give your final goodbye, this feels like something hastily written. It's a little bit odd. There are questions now about whether it's authentic or not.
Right. Well, we're going to be talking to someone who knows a lot about Jeffrey Epstein's final days. William Mercy was in the same jail with him in New York City.
He was next to Jeffrey Epstein's cell and was actually a suicide watch companion during the final weeks of Jeffrey Epstein's life.
Right, and he is joining us now to talk about this note. William, welcome to TMZ Live.
Thanks for having me.
So, William, the note, at least to me, feels very kind of weird, that it's almost like off the cuff, hastily written. The sentence structure isn't particularly good. Does that ring true to the person you interacted with for so many hours in terms of just the way he speaks?
Well, it does and it doesn't, but it seems to me he was probably very stressed being in the special housing unit, because that's a really bad environment. That's the worst of the worst in the prison. If you want protective custody, you're with the bad boys, and they yell and scream all night, and it's just harrowing to be in the shoe, is what I understand. Fortunately, I never went because I obeyed the rules. But I think that he was probably very stressed at that moment and was just scribbling.
So you mean just
sure looks that way.
That it's just a chaotic, it's a lot of noise from the inmates at all times?
It's terrible. I mean, guys used to pretend that they were suicidal just so that they could get moved down to the suicide unit and get a good night's sleep.
So, look, you spent a lot of time with him. And you know, obviously, what people are saying, that this may not have been suicide. There are some people who believe it was murder. Your take is really important because you spent as much time with him as anybody in the weeks leading up to his death. Do you believe this was suicide?
100%. I'm sure he killed himself.
Why?
Well, first of all, you had to be in the prison. For somebody to get in there and murder him would take a big conspiracy involving a lot of people. And those guards would have withered under interrogation. They weren't really ready for prime time. Half of them had PTSD from fighting in Afghanistan and Iraq. And it wouldn't have worked. That conspiracy would have unraveled immediately. And additionally, I watched him ratchet down emotionally after he couldn't get bail from the judge. He couldn't give up his island and his airplane and get out as he had before. And he was facing life behind bars for the rest of his life, and he was not ready for prison. He confessed that he'd been bullied by black kids when he was growing up, and he was afraid of black inmates. He was afraid of inmates. I mean, most of his conversation centered around, how am I going to deal with this place? He was really apprehensive.
Was that something he talked a lot about, like just being afraid of inmates or feeling like he needed protection?
Yes, absolutely. Do I need a big black guy to protect me?
Did you speak with other inmates who were around him at the time he died? And did they kind of give their take on whether they felt it was suicide or not?
Yeah, the only one was a guy who worked in the kitchen with me, who was in for trying to set up a drug deal on TrueLinks, which is the email program accessible to inmates. He got caught, and and thrown in the shoe. And when he came out to general population after he'd served his time, he told me he had the cell next to Epstein, and nobody came in and out of that unit at all that night. Nobody did the count. And he heard Jeffrey tearing up sheets and actually spoke to him that night, through the bars.
What did Jeffrey, what did he say? Yeah.
Oh, it was something about, are you okay, Jeffrey? I forgot. It was some conversation that didn't matter. It had nothing to do with suicide or anything.
So just to connect the dots, the tearing up of the sheets, those would be the pieces of material that the government says Jeffrey Epstein used to kill himself, to hang himself or strangle himself.
I don't know about the shoe, but we got a lot of sheets. We would hang lines in the cell so you could go to the bathroom, without the other guy watching you, or have a little privacy, even though it's 35 square feet. And we just had access to a lot of sheets and blankets. And so it doesn't surprise me that he had 4 or 5 sheets in the cell.
So, William,
you all had that.
This note was actually written 2 weeks before Jeffrey Epstein actually died, when he made his first attempt at suicide. It was not successful, but that's when the note was written. Did you speak to him in that 2-week period? Did you speak to him, and did he talk about possibly being suicidal?
He never talked to me about being suicidal. He did come back to the suicide unit after that episode with the cop who killed 4 people or was accused of killing 4 people. And I asked him what happened, and he said, I don't know. I just got up to get a drink of water. That's all I remember. And I just looked at him and said, I spent a lot of time with you, Jeffrey, and this is the first time you lied to me. I know you're lying to me, but I didn't push it because that wasn't my role.
You spent hours next to him, and you talked to him a lot. Did he ever talk to you about the allegations against him, whether he felt he was framed, whether he felt he was a scapegoat? Did he cop to any of it? Was any of this discussed?
No, I had no discussions therein with him about his crime.
You're such a smart guy. And you're inquisitive, you're a writer. It just seems odd to me. Why wouldn't you ask him about what everybody in the country was talking about?
Well, when you're in an environment among criminals, it's sort of an unwritten rule. You don't ask a whole lot of questions like that. We all committed a crime. We're all criminals. And, that's sort of the attitude. And my role as a suicide watcher, I felt, was to make him feel like life was worth living. And discussing his charges and whether he felt that they were justified was really, I just didn't feel it was within my purview. Though I do wish I'd asked him about Prince Andrew in retrospect.
Did he ever mention him?
No.
So
I asked him stuff like, when was the last time Bill Clinton had sex with Hillary? And he just looked at me like, Mercy, I thought you were better than that.
So what I hear you saying, William, is that this thing that we always see in movies and TV about, hey, what are you in for? That inmates say that to each other. Does that happen?
Yeah, that does happen. But sometimes seasoned inmates will look at you cross-eyed when you ask that question because it's sort of out of bounds. But I was curious about, I'm just a curious individual. What did this guy do? And, there were all kinds of, different charges, a lot of drug dealers, a lot of gunslingers, and, a kid who held up a CVS with his finger in his pocket ended up in federal, just a lot of weird stuff.
I've talked to you before, and, you've talked about just Epstein's general demeanor in the days leading up to his death. And you seem to think there's relevance in just the way he was even eating. Can you go into that?
Oh, well, the way I knew that he was going back to the shoe on this particular night because the shrinks had told me. And it might be the last time I was ever going to see him. So, I went downstairs doing my 7 to 11 shift, and he was eating his chicken dinner on the floor, sitting on the floor. He'd never done that. And I asked him, Jeffrey, why are you sitting on the floor? What's going on? He said, it's just easier this way. He just looked resigned to his fate. and very depressed. And up until that point, when he thought that maybe he could get bail from the judge, he had moments where he sort of drifted off, and I could tell he's disengaged from the conversation. He's thinking about, oh my God, I'm in deep trouble here. But mostly he was fairly upbeat. But that night he was definitely not upbeat after he couldn't get bail. I think he was facing the reality that he was going to spend the rest of his life in prison, along with the government that I'm sure was asking him to cooperate and telling him that we will mitigate your circumstances if you tell us what we want to hear, which is basically who is involved in this whole pedophile ring.
So, William, based on your conversations with Jeffrey Epstein, based on what you've heard from other inmates who were in there at the time, do you have any reservations about whether or not he actually killed himself by suicide?
Oh, I think I'm like 99.99% that he killed himself. I mean, I know all the forensic evidence and all the arguments, but if you were in that prison for a year and hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein and just watching, the entire place, there's no way that somebody got in there and killed him. I just don't believe that. He did it himself.
We so appreciate you coming on. Thank you so much, William.
Okay, and thank you for having me.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Coming up.
Well, the sports scandal that just does not seem to end about Mike Vrabel, the Patriots head coach, and Dianna Russini, the journalist who was covering the NFL for The Athletic at the time. There's another chapter to this.
Be right back.
Well, the sports scandal that just does not seem to end about Mike Vrabel, the Patriots head coach, and Dianna Russini, the journalist who was covering the NFL for The Athletic at the time. There's another chapter to this. That obviously this all started with the photos that Page Six got several weeks ago of them together in Sedona, which everyone thought, well, that's kind of weird, and they said it was not anything more than just them hanging out with other friends. Since then, there have been several other photos that have come out, and it's pretty clear to everyone involved there was some relationship here. She has since resigned from The Athletic, and he has promised that he's going to be better, make better decisions for his family and for the Patriots. Well, turns out there was a time back in June of 2021. This is when Mike Vrabel was the coach of the Tennessee Titans. And TMZ Sports got new video of Mike Vrabel and Dianna Russini hanging out at a lake in Tennessee, in Putnam County.
In case you didn't notice,
Tennessee, and
she's
she is
pregnant.
Pregnant. This was at the time when Dianna was pregnant with her first child, several months pregnant.
Yeah. This was June, Charles, June of 2021, and she ultimately gave birth to her son Michael in August of 2021. So less than about 2 months after that, she has the baby.
Now, what she said on social media, because she named the kid Michael,
Yeah.
is really interesting.
Right. So she names the kid Michael. Obviously, we know now she was having this relationship with Mike Vrabel. We've seen them in the bar in 2020. So obviously it was going on by now. A lot of people have speculated, Harvey, that she actually named the baby after Mike Vrabel. We have been told by people who would be in a position to know that that is not true, that she named the baby Michael after her brother, whose name is Michael. So it has nothing to do with Mike Vrabel.
But what about the tweet?
I mean,
right.
What about the tweet?
She did,
Yes.
not too long after the baby was born, she was pondering on X, on Twitter, who the greatest Michaels to ever coach or play football were. And, I mean, maybe Mike Vrabel is one of them.
Right, because her point was she's looking at her baby whose name is Mike, and so
Right.
she's thinking about that. There are all sorts of ways you can view that tweet now, knowing what we know.
Yeah.
That we would not have known
Right.
when she
I
actually
looked
posted it.
back at a lot of things that she has said.
As the internet has been doing for weeks now.
So what's the unresolved thing here? Because he's with the Patriots, seems solid
Right,
with the Patriots, so that's not going
Right,
away.
she's out of a job.
She's out of a job. So is there anything unresolved here?
well,
Because
I'll tell you what.
there may be more pictures, but is it...
Right. And I think there will be more pictures, Harvey, because that just seems to be what's
Right.
happening now. It's like every day there's something new. I think he's going to be the coach of the Patriots, but I will say there is more and more talk as the days go by and the stories come out that perhaps this would be enough for him to actually say, I can't be the coach right now, and I got to save my family. He's been
But
married for 20.
that would be his decision.
Right.
Yeah.
Because it
You
seems
would
at this
presume
point
so.
the Patriots have said they're
Right.
standing
Even
behind
the NFL said we're not even investigating him. It's not a league issue. It's not a discipline issue.
I'm not sure what that means. To say I'm going to leave the Patriots because I got to focus on my family. He could still focus. He could do both.
You could. But look, being an
But
NFL
we don't know
coach
what's
is
happening. Yeah,
right.
it's
He's been married
all-consuming.
since 1999.
But
He's got two children.
But she's sticking with him so far.
Seemingly, as is Dianna Russini's
Right,
husband,
they were
as far
together
as we
in
know.
Utah.
Yeah.
Mike Vrabel and his wife
Right.
were together in Utah a couple weeks ago, and we haven't heard anything from
Right. But it's
Diana's
just like,
husband.
how do you get past it, Charles, if there's something new every day? It's like you can't move on, you know?
My name is Molly from Kansas City. And yeah, I mean, I think the craziest thing about this is how she was so pregnant in June. And then by, I think it was late summer, she gives birth to the baby named Michael. Obviously, now knowing what we know, looking back, that's crazy. And then the tweet on top of it. And I just don't understand. If I was her husband, I would be asking for a DNA test.
Yeah,
We talked about that this morning.
We talked about it, and
Yeah.
we have no idea what's going on behind the scenes. But
Right.
it is true. The name Michael is the most common name.
I
for
looked in my phone. I've got about 100
Michaels.
Yeah.
Right. Well, as David, the singer David, is in jail awaiting trial for the murder of Celeste Rivas Hernandez, it may seem like awkward timing, and maybe it just is, but David's younger brother, Caleb, is launching his own music career right now. In fact, Caleb just dropped a couple of new songs on streaming services and on social media. And while some people are listening to the music and talking about that, most people reacting to it online are talking about the case against David. And some people, even without any evidence of this, claiming that they feel Caleb is somehow complicit because he covered up for his brother, that he knew about what was going on with Celeste allegedly, and that he helped him cover up.
So one of the things I think people are pointing to is that there is some video, we have a screen grab of it, of the brother
Celeste
with
and-
Celeste at one of the concerts backstage, and they're saying, therefore, he must know a lot.
Yes, but
That's pretty much the extent
pretty
of
much
the
it.
evidence.
So Caleb, and I think part of this is he's trying to launch a music career and he wants people to focus on that. So he actually responded to some of the critics and said, I've been wanting to say something for a while, but I have to be careful about what I say as this is an ongoing legal matter. I don't want to make this horrible situation about me. I want justice for Celeste and her family. I've seen people say that I knew what was going on and was protecting my brother. This is not true at all.
So I wonder what that means to say I want justice for Celeste and her family. Does that mean that he is aligned with his brother? Because he could say, I also want justice for my brother.
Sure seems that way.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he doesn't,
mean,
he doesn't say, I want my brother to be
That's a huge
exonerated.
thing.
He says, I want justice for her.
That's a huge statement. I want justice for Celeste, but he never mentions his brother.
I will say...
Well, I'm sure that's where he said, I have to be careful. He probably
Yeah.
was
Well,
told,
no, he could say-
don't say anything about his brother.
Well, he
I
could
want
say, I
justice
want justice
to
for
be
everybody,
done.
my
Right,
Celeste
exactly.
and my brother. But he didn't say that.
He's also said that he doesn't really have a close relationship with David anyway.
I will say...
regardless of this.
I got to say, don't gloss over him saying, I want justice for Celeste.
I agree. I think there's something there. But I will say that he was seen with Celeste. She was 13, 14, 15 years old when with David. It's hard to be around that and not think there's something going on.
I will say this, that we talked to people who were at parties with them.
Yeah.
They thought she was 19 years old. I mean, it's kind of crazy,
Fair.
I know.
Based on anything other than
Looks,
The way she looked.
Just
Right,
the way
yeah.
she looked and acted. That they said she presented
So
much
David
older.
may have known how old she was, but the others
we
didn't.
know, well,
Maybe he did, maybe he didn't. I don't know. But
according to prosecutors, he did know at a point when
he
they
knew.
contacted.
That's right.
David knew.
That's right. But in
other
terms
people-
of, and maybe his brother, we don't know. We don't know.
Hey, it's Kristen from Miami. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of the people that unfortunately does find him complicit. And to even say, or for anybody to be like, oh, she looked older. That's ridiculous. Anybody who's seen a picture of Celeste knows that she looked 12 years old. And I get that he's coming out here trying to be like, oh, I'm releasing this music career. This is affecting me. This just feels like You're only mad because it's affecting you now. When you were in the room with this little girl, you didn't say anything. You didn't even ask her for her age. You didn't know her age yet. You were 15. You were old enough to ask her her age. You were old enough to know that that was a young girl. You're 15. You can tell she's younger than you. And you couldn't even come up and be like, hey, honey, how are you? How old are you? Talk to her, like figure things out. Say something to someone. And he didn't. And only now, when it's affecting his career, is it an issue for him? Only now it's like, I want justice for Celeste. You didn't want justice when you were in the room with her. And I'm sorry. I get this whole like, oh, she looks older. No, she didn't. She was 12. She didn't even go through puberty yet. She was a kid. Anybody who's seen a picture of her can tell she's a 12-year-old little girl. I think everybody who did not help, who did not say anything, who did not try to intervene is complicit in this. He knows more than he's saying. Even if he didn't know her age, he knew she wasn't an adult. He knows what he was doing. He just doesn't want it to affect his career.
Okay. That was well presented.
Coming up.
You know the scene from Moonstruck when Nicolas Cage says to his brother, you took my wife, you took my girlfriend, you took my job, and the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Brandi Glanville kind of did that.
She's doing a pretty good version of that. Maybe that was her intent.
See?
Maybe she was inspired by it.
Be right back.
TMZ's got every freaking thing. Big celebs, big stories, big events.
BB Rexa was looking hot on vacation.
Look at the water, too. Did you just say, look at the water?
I mean, I'll be honest, that is what I was looking at.
You know the scene from Moonstruck when Nicolas Cage says to his brother, you took my wife, you took my girlfriend, you took my job, and the whole thing? Mm-hmm. Brandi Glanville kind of did that.
She's doing a pretty good version of that. Maybe that was her intent.
See?
Maybe she was inspired by it. Because Brandi was reacting to news or rumors that LeAnn Rimes is going to be joining Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And if you know anything about the history of LeAnn Rimes and Brandi Glanville, basically LeAnn Rimes is now with Eddie Cibrian, who was with Brandi Glanville. Brandi believes that they were cheating, and so basically, LeAnn stole her man. So
and LeAnn's been with him for 15 years now.
Yeah, they're still together. So this is what Brandi posted once she heard about this rumor. She said, I hope it's true about RHOBH. I mean, she got everything else of mine. Husband, kids, boobs, Bronco, random illnesses. She might as well just be a housewife and finish it off once and for all.
I'm so shocked.
Wow.
I'm so shocked that she would sort of put this out there and give it
to let
oxygen,
people know that it's bothering
it's still
her.
bothering
Right.
her. That it's like,
I get that. I can understand her having those feelings. I don't get sharing it with the world.
but you know, I hear you, but I don't even understand. After 15 years, you gotta let it go and live.
Well, I think Brandi's a little bored too. I mean, she doesn't have a lot going on right now. She's not on the show anymore, and they're not going to have her back because she's got that huge lawsuit against the network. The funny thing about all of this is, I've spoken to people on the show and at the network, and they're like, we've never even had a conversation with LeAnn about, I mean, her name has come up in casting,
Right.
but it's never gone as far as we're bringing LeAnn a formal offer. They've never had talks with her. And by the
let's be
way,
honest.
then I've spoken to people close to LeAnn. She would never do this.
Well,
she's on a hit ABC
LeAnn
show.
responded
Leann's
to this.
response.
I mean, this response is great. Oh my God, dying. School queen? No housewives for me. Playing Dixie on 911 Nashville is drama enough for me.
Could you go back to the school queen part? Could you do that again?
I'm not going to do that again.
What was the intonation?
But hold on.
School
No. But the thing about it is, it's a flex because she's saying, I'm on 911 Nashville.
Right.
I don't need this.
I don't need this.
Doesn't need it.
And that was a flex on her part. So she's kind of rubbing Brandi's nose in it by what she wrote.
But you
Because she
know
knows
that, by the
Brandi's
way.
not working right now.
Right.
I get your point that Brandi should be over it by this point. But if, and you've heard that they're not, but if the producers ever did extend an offer to LeAnn Rimes,
Bring
they'd be
them both
doing it.
back.
They'd be doing it because of that. They know exactly what they're doing.
Bring them both back. Seriously.
It would be great TV. It would
they're
be
not
incredible
You
TV.
why?
No, the producers would love to do it. Brandi and
never gonna
LeAnn would
happen.
not do that.
Brandi would do it.
Well, Brandi probably.
Brandi would do it.
My name is Laura. I'm in Anaheim, California. And if it is a potential for LeAnn to join the Beverly Housewives cast, I say do it, especially since Brandi is clearly still bothered about her and her ex-husband. They haven't been together since what? 2010?
Yeah.
LeAnn got married to her in 2011. I don't understand why you're still so up in arms about someone who they're not even your husband anymore. She still relates to him saying her husband. He's not your husband. He hasn't been your husband for years. I'm not understanding why she hates her so much. And it's like, if she does join it, you have the potential to do the funniest thing ever. I get to be on the franchise from which you once were on, as well as having the diamond. I can be a
Wow,
listen, I'm just saying. I'm just
You're
saying.
making Brandi's point.
I'm just saying. Like,
it would be very petty.
Coming up.
It was debate night here in Hollywood, specifically for the mayoral race for Los Angeles. And you know that Spencer Pratt, formerly of the Hills, is going up against the city's current mayor, Karen Bass. They did address, I think, one of the most important issues for citizens of Los Angeles is what is going to be done about the homeless crisis.
Be right back.
Welcome back to TMZ Live. It was debate night here in Hollywood, specifically for the mayoral race for Los Angeles. And you know that Spencer Pratt, formerly of the Hills, is going up against the city's current mayor, Karen Bass.
They look like they're on Jeopardy, frankly.
It does. They were on the debate stage last night along with another candidate, Nithya Raman, who is current, city council. And so the three candidates were going at it, as you'd expect in a debate, a lot of jabs at each other. They did address, I think, one of the most important issues for citizens of Los Angeles is what is going to be done about the homeless crisis here in the city. So this is how they went at each other on that issue.
Inside Safe is the only citywide program that we have had that has reduced homelessness 2 years in a row. Prior to that, there was no citywide strategy, and homelessness was going up year after year.
I don't think anybody in Los Angeles right now can say that we are satisfied with spending extraordinary amounts of money on our homelessness response and getting only incremental progress in response. I want to change that. Let's use the dollars that we're spending. Let's actually build out a real system that can get as many people indoors as possible.
The reality is no matter how many beds you give these people, they are on super meth. They are on fentanyl. The DEA statistic says 93% of this is a drug addiction problem. Nithya, Councilwoman Robin's plan for treatment first, I will go below the Harbor Freeway tomorrow with her, and we can find some of these people she's going to offer treatment for. She's going to get stabbed in the neck. These people do not want a bed. They want fentanyl or super meth.
You know, I got to say that I'm impressed with the depth of what Spencer was saying there, because there really is this underlying mental illness issue with homelessness in LA. And, you know, to kind of just treat this as, hey, it's a homeless issue without understanding the mental illness side is folly.
Right. And both things are at a ridiculous crisis level.
The consensus, at least that I've seen, is that they felt like Spencer won the debates last night. But the problem is they're debates. Like, this is exactly what he's good at: public speaking, getting in the mix with the other people.
To vote. Guess who else won debates?
Donald Trump.
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that he could win, but just because you're good during the debate doesn't mean you're going to be a good politician.
I have no idea what's
that you're
going to
be a good mayor, that you're going to be able to actually
No idea what's going to happen. I will say Spencer Pratt has come out with his own ad, which is, I think, effective, where he's showing, the mansions that the mayor lives in, and you look at that and juxtapose it with the trailer that he's living in because his house burned down, and it's so messed up in this city trying to rebuild. So that's effective. More effective was what a very famous, accomplished director
director who put together, this was not produced by Spencer Pratt, but this is the age of information, where he used AI, and the director used AI to...
Karen Bass is Marie Antoinette, and she's basically saying to everyone, let them eat cake, and she is laughing at their
Newsom
suffering.
is in it.
There's Newsom. It ends...
Kamala Harris is in it.
And it ends with them getting tomatoed, with Spencer Pratt as the Batman hero.
Yes.
And it's... I gotta say, people have been talking about this ad.
He has a real chance of winning. I know you keep saying...
I don't know. I don't know.
I think he has... No, he definitely has a real chance of winning. What we were talking about the other day is whether or not he has the ability to actually manage in a city,
But
the second largest
the
city in
people
the
are so
country.
turned off by Karen Bass of LA. I
know,
think
but
the majority.
You say the people. She has a base that's been very loyal to her over many years because she was a congresswoman long before she was a mayor. I don't know. I mean, I've lived in the city all my life, and I've been able to get a read on who wins what. Generally, I have no read on this. I have no read on this. None.
Hey, my name is Danielle, and I'm from New Jersey. I only know Spencer Pratt from The Hills, so seeing him do a mayoral debate against candidates was not on my 2026 bingo card. I understand he went through, a time where he lost his house, and tragedy makes you want to get into politics on the local level or on a higher level, but we've seen this movie before. I don't want to see another reality star in government. It's a no for me.
Seems to be the way of the world these days.
But we will see what the citizens of LA say. Big night in Vegas for Blake Shelton and Gwen Stefani. We'll start with the bigger one, just in venue size.
Okay.
In venue size,
Okay.
no doubt. Started their run at the Sphere last night, so that's a huge thing for them. Huge success, everyone, and I do mean huge. God, that screen.
It's amazing.
It really is incredible. So it turns out that Blake Shelton, her husband, is also in Vegas, but not there to see No Doubt. He had his own show that was scheduled that night and actually talked about being in Vegas at the same time as Gwen, but not at her show.
And casts
Yeah, he's
blame.
pointing fingers at someone.
My wife came to town. She's here. I mean, she's not here. She's over there at the other venue. Kind of books us on the exact same nights, every single night. I think my manager did that. He's here, isn't he? Sorry, Narvel.
Blames it on the manager.
Blames it on the
like
manager.
Blake didn't know when he was performing. I mean,
And a good manager just sits there and takes it. That's
along with the 15%.
Right, exactly.
And kind of like he said, like, it's not just the opening night. There's other shows that he has that also line up with more dates. We're told that Blake will eventually go see the No Doubt show at the Sphere.
What about her going and see him?
Now it's all about
It goes
Gwen.
both ways.
Right, it should go both ways.
I think he knows his place. Getting a show at
His
the Sphere
place?
is really big.
Knows his place.
He's
Blake
a
Shelton is
huge star.
Look, when Blake is at the Sphere, then we can talk. But right now, this is her time to shine.
So what you're saying is size matters.
Yeah. Yes, it does, Charles. Yes, it does.
Coming up.
So we all thought that the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal war was over. It is not. What came out today is that Blake Lively still has one claim against Justin Baldoni, and both sides agreed a judge is going to settle the score here.
Be right back.
So we all thought that the Blake Lively-Justin Baldoni legal war was over. It is not. What came out today is that Blake Lively still has one claim against Justin Baldoni, and both sides agreed a judge is going to settle the score here. This is a weird law in California. It's very technical. Bottom line is, she filed a sexual harassment lawsuit against him. He responded with a defamation lawsuit against her. Now, that defamation lawsuit was dismissed. It was thrown out. But under California law, she is allowed to collect her attorney's fees that she incurred while fighting this against somebody who files a defamation lawsuit over a sexual harassment claim.
The intent of the law is to protect people who are making claims of sexual harassment in the workplace. You don't want them to feel like they're being silenced.
Which is true.
Right.
But the twist in this is her
That her
sexual harassment
was also
claim
thrown out.
got thrown out. So now she's going back to court to ask a judge to make him pay for her lawyer's fees for a case that the judge threw out.
Right.
So
both
we don't know-
cases are thrown out, yet he may have to pay millions of dollars to Blake for this. And this was part of their overall settlement that we told you about earlier in the week when we thought this was all done.
We will see what
and
the
the
judge
part of the
rules.
settlement
Yeah.
said that whatever the judge says, that's what they're going to do. There's no appeals.
Finally over, please.
Yeah, come on, judge.
Lindsay Phoenix. This is not about money for Blake Lively. This is about her having the last word and her feeling like she's coming out on top. She initiated the lawsuit in support of all the other women that are experiencing sexual assault in the workplace. For her, it wasn't about money, or so she says. But she settled, she gave up, and now she's still coming after Justin Baldoni to pay her legal fees. She's still trying to bring him down in some way, shape, or form. And let's be clear, she doesn't need the money. Ryan Reynolds, her husband, is worth over $400 million. She doesn't need the money. She just wants to come out on top looking like she won something. What she needs to do, she needs to go enjoy her family, enjoy her kids, enjoy her life. She needs to be more like Elsa. She needs to let it go, let it go. She needs to chill.
That was really good, I gotta say.
Bravo.
That was very good. Wow.
Coming up.
I think Kodak Black has lost sight of what it means to be a rapper. It is not to have a long rap sheet. It is to actually rap lyrics. But he has been arrested yet again in Florida. And this time the police say it is for drug trafficking.
Be right back.
I think Kodak Black has lost sight of what it means to be a rapper. It is not to have a long rap sheet. It is to actually rap lyrics. But he has been arrested yet again in Florida. And this time the police say it is for drug trafficking. And according to the report, they are saying he had somewhere between, and this is a very wide gap, but somewhere between 10 and 200 grams of ecstasy or MDMA.
That would be a lot.
And that amount is what triggers them to say you're trafficking. This is not just something you're in your pocket to go out for a night. You're trafficking.
He has been arrested and charged and convicted with drug trafficking, weapons possession, all sorts of issues.
Yeah.
I mean, he is a really troubled
They
guy.
also said they had found $37,000 in cash in his car during this bust that went down in November. So,
but I gotta say,
he has avoided to this point really serious jail time. Although the one time he went in, President Trump gave him a pardon. Or a commutation.
It
I
will
forget
be
which it
interesting
was,
to see
and he
if
got
that
out.
happens again. If he gets convicted, they're going to look at all these other offenses in sentencing him.
Yeah.
So he's in trouble. He is in trouble.
What's going on, y'all? My name is Jelani Lyon from the 10 Lions podcast, and I'm from Kingston, New York. This whole Kodak Black situation is honestly super disappointing and an incredible waste of talent, in my opinion. So many artists would kill to be as successful as Kodak Black, and he just continues to throw it away. I feel like Kodak could truly be in the conversation for the next generation's big three if he would leave the streets alone, leave the guns alone, and leave the drugs alone entirely. People talk about the big three with Kendrick Lamar, Drake, and J. Cole, but when they asked about the big three for the next generation, there's never any consistent names or answers given. Kodak has been super successful since 2016 while also having these routine run-ins with the law. So just imagine how much more impact he would have if he focused more on his music and less on the streets and less on the drugs. There aren't even many names of this next generation that are nearly as influential or impactful as Kodak Black.
Yeah. All right. Okay. What else you guys want to talk about?
All right, I'm Jace. Jace919 on TikTok. I'm from Winston-Salem. And the Epstein situation, honestly, I think them finding that letter or that note, honestly, such a nothing burger. We have no proof that he actually wrote the letter. Even if he did, I honestly couldn't find it in me to care. I think we need to see some real justice for the victims when you start arresting people. And, let's focus on who's alive right now. I could care less about his letter, honestly.
It is so interesting that with all the talk, no other real names have surfaced by people. And, we've seen names in documents, but
that's why people are frustrated.
I know.
Because they feel like there must be other names, and
haven't seen
where
them.
are they?
One more.
Hi, my name is Malaysia. I'm from Southern California. And I want to touch on the Caleb and David case. I just feel like Caleb shouldn't be trying to launch his music career at this point until everything is situated with his brother. And, it's a sad story, but I think that, they are trying to cover up for him for some reason. I don't know if it may be scared or they, maybe getting paid. But I just wish Celeste's family, hoping they get justice.
We will see. We will see.
Coming up.
We have seen a lot of actresses from like the late 90s, early 2000s joining OnlyFans. And the latest is Jamie Presley.
Be right back.
There is a trend now, very clearly. We have seen a lot of actresses from like the late 90s, early 2000s.
Amber Rose.
Carmen Electra.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Shannon Elizabeth.
Yeah.
Joining OnlyFans. And the latest is Jamie Presley. You remember the show. Actually, that was right around when TMZ started.
It was.
My Name is Earl.
Yep.
But Jamie Presley says she has joined the platform and she's looking forward to engaging with her fans. We don't know exactly what the content is going to be, but
here's the way I base it off of. A lot of people say, "Oh, most people don't succeed, doing OnlyFans. The ones who do, it's a small percentage." Well, guess what? When you're an actress or an actor, only a small percentage get successful too.
Right.
So, I think that OnlyFans has got kind of a bad rap here. That it is an avenue for people to make money.
And people like Jamie Presley and Shannon Elizabeth and Carmen, they have an advantage. They have a name brand already.
Yeah.
Right.
And
that
so
they're bringing. So
I got to say,
now they just got to pay.
I know there's a lot of, talk about it and negativity about it, and there are negative things about it, but it is an avenue for people to have a career and make more money than they could elsewhere. Okay, that's it tomorrow.